going on, guys? It's been a while. It's Dave, back again. So I started off the year 2024 putting out some of these videos, calling them podcasts, and I think it did me a lot of good as far as getting the ball rolling, putting more of my creative outlet into the world. In the last year, my wife and I, we started our own business selling clothes online. I'll put the link in the description and a link to the channel as well. Yeah, we've been busy doing that and really just kind of spreading our wings and getting used to making money doing whatever it is that we want, right? This podcast is just another part of that, another creative outlet, another way for me to connect with more people and just get my voice out there. When the internet first came about and people were being shy about putting themselves out there, I think that was due to a lot of old thinking. Back when the communication channels to have yourself heard and be seen and just to be able to put yourself out there didn't exist. Obviously, it was a bit insane to think that you were going to be able to do it through the channels that existed at that point in time. You know, the competition for those broadcasts, whether they be networks like radio or TV, or if you get into the movies, you know, people were starved for attention, people want attention, people want to be heard. Yet at that point in time, the ability to garner an audience of any kind of size, I think, was limited. And, not that being able to connect and growing an audience of any particular size is of any importance. I'm just referring to the very human need or the natural desire, I guess, for attention. As the year went on and I got busy with other things, the podcast kind of went to the wayside. But as I rang in the new year and had fallen out of the habit of creating content just for the sake of creating content, I just felt an itch to start doing it again. Yeah, 2025 has started and it's been a doozy so far, right? As expected. The election, or rather the inauguration, what happened, Trump is president, there are UAPs flying about, there is a controlled disclosure going on where Jake Barber was on News Nation, which seems to be the only media network channel outlet that seems to be covering this. They say exclusive, but I just feel like the distribution is a little bit weird. But yeah, lots of weird stuff going on, and no better time than the present than to start things off and start doing stuff again. Something that happened recently at my jiu-jitsu gym was one of my good buddies there, Jo Valignota. He is I forget how old he is exactly, 50-something-year-old dad, Filipino guy, bald. As I was recording the interview that I'm about to share with you guys, I was thinking I should call this the Bald Asian Guy podcast. But yeah, he was just recently promoted to black belt at my academy by my professor, Bruce Guevara. Big accomplishment, and I thought I wanted to document some of his thoughts on the occasion, and for me to be able to talk to him and to have him tell me about what it means for him to get his black belt and for him to be able to share that with me and share this with the world as well. I'll be splicing that video content, that interview with Jo, right after this, but I am happy to be back and I will be putting out more videos shortly. So stay tuned and I will talk to you guys next time. Enjoy the interview with Jo. Bye. All right, guys, just starting to record. This is all going to get edited in the end anyway, so it doesn't matter. We're just hanging out talking. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Bubu Future podcast. This is my first episode in about 11 months, so I don't know if it's welcome back or we're just starting this thing all over again from scratch. But today, I was reignited, reinvigorated, inspired to start this again and really bring a guest that I care a lot about onto the podcast to talk a little bit about his new achievement. And that guest here is Mr. Jo Valignota. Am I even pronouncing that right,
perfect.
Joe?
Just like
all right, Joe, you can just come sit right here. You can see where we're at.
Nice.
Joe, welcome. Before we go ahead and get started, so the reason I wanted Joe on the podcast is because Joe recently was awarded his black belt by Professor Bruce here at B1 Jiu-Jitsu Academy. And, we want to talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, shout out to our guys that we're here training with. Adrian, you guys come on over here, say hi. A quick little shout out, introduce yourselves.
The young guns.
Looking for the mic, or looking to the camera and say hi.
Hi, Adrian, one of the blue belts here at the gym.
Pass it on.
Hello, I'm Mike.
Coach Mike.
Hi, I'm Lewis. I'm your humble white belt here.
Lewis, humble white belt that was punishing everyone today.
That's for
This
sure.
is a Sunday class, one that Joe typically runs every week, and I thought it was just fitting that we're hanging out with these guys, getting some good rolls in on a day that people are typically resting. And but yeah, thanks for being here, guys, and thanks for the rolls today. Ooh. Let me.
Yeah, no problem. You got your editing. you're good.
Thanks.
You have the voice. You're smooth. I stumble around on these things. But good.
So, Coach Joe, Professor Joe, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm a fan of your podcast. I'm glad you are stepping out and doing this because it's not. I've done a couple podcasts, and it's always a little bit, challenging to
Absolutely.
be consistent and start it. Yeah, for sure.
The a little phrase that I coined to describe myself was consistently inconsistent. So I'm not very consistent about a lot of things, but the things I do care about, I will always come back and do. But the fact of the matter is I'm kind of a free spirit, and I roam around, and I'm interested in a bunch of things. What about you, Joe? How would you describe yourself? Would you say you're more laser focused or more?
Yeah, I think one of the, and I was thinking about this. Jiu-jitsu suits me because if I get into a rhythm, I could just do it. Like if I have a certain routine of work, I'll do that for 10 years. If the way that my desk is set up, I'm fine with it as long as it's consistent. Jiu-jitsu, it's just like, all right, it's just I'm coming. So there's not, there's some obviously challenges because there's always like life comes in, the routines, and basically it suits me. So I could just. I got a little funny joke if I could tell you.
Sure,
This is okay. If I do something, it's a little bit like weird, but then it becomes just like a personal challenge for me. Okay, so ever since I've been dating my wife, you might not believe this. I've never let her hear me fart.
To this day.
To this day, I've never let her hear me fart.
Okay.
Now, I think there was times when I slept and maybe something happened.
Against your will.
Against my will, but I've never intentionally like, hey, check this out.
Okay.
And after a while, it became like, after like 20 years, it's been 30 years. After 20 years, I was just like, I'm never gonna do it. This is it. And I feel something like jiu-jitsu is just like, I'm doing this, and this is it. I'm gonna keep on going.
What was that point for you?
There was a point, and it's funny because my son, Cole, he trains here. He said that he told me like, I'm not going to quit, Pops, because if I quit, you're going to quit. But I didn't tell him that even if he quit, I was going to keep on going. And that was kind of when we were like blue belts. Maybe he was a purple belt, and I realized, the only thing doing this is beneficial. There's so much. Not only, the physical, but then I was telling some people, it's like you go places when you're in jiu-jitsu that few times in normal life someone's choking you out. I'm like, what are we doing here? Can I make it? Can I survive? Should I just tap out? Should I just quit? When you're having a roll with someone, it's almost like I say it's like when you have you also, it's more than just conversational. It's like there's something different, maybe not deeper than a conversation, but you learn about this person.
Absolutely.
When you roll with them. It's like I don't know, spiritual or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's very interesting. It's super.
Absolutely.
Super special.
Jiu-Jitsu, like you were alluding to before, the time that you invest, or the time that you spend doing Jiu-Jitsu is truly an investment. You don't feel like you've wasted time when you make it to a class you weren't, that you were planning on attending or you were thinking about skipping. Black belt Jiu-Jitsu carries a ton of meaning. Tons of people have their own connotations of what it means. There are a million definitions, but today the only definition that I'm interested in is yours. Like, what does it mean to you now that you have your black belt?
I heard I heard a guy explain it well, because I actually think of the same. It's like a black belt doesn't necessarily mean that you could walk around the street and be 100%. You could just kill anyone on the street. You could murder anyone that you approach for the most part. It doesn't even mean that you could beat everyone in your gym, or I think it's based on your personal level as to your jiu-jitsu journey. So I might be a black belt, but there's many younger guys who are flexible, stronger, might have better technique, better moves, who might tap me out and that kind of thing. But on the level of where how my skill has evolved and where he goes, I think a lot of it is have I learned enough to stay safe? Can I attack? Can I defend for the most part? And the other thing is like if I think Professor Bruce really if you're able to help assist and coach and help other people when you roll, like, hey, you could do this. And then in general, I'm not a technique specialist. I know my body set allows me to do certain things. But if I'm wrong with someone, I'll be like, hey, grab here, or just adjust your grip here, and I'll try finishing it, and I'll let them, so people can learn and I could help them.
Yeah,
it's part of being
so much of life is about going full circle, and I feel like you haven't really fully said, like, you can't say that you've fully been a student until you've taught as well. Like, you have to do both.
Right.
And it isn't until you go to teach that you recognize, holes in your logic or that in your understanding when you try to convey that. As your jiu-jitsu journey progresses, from how many years have you been training?
Almost about 8.5.
8.5 years.
Yeah.
People change, lives change, priorities change. The constant for the last 8.5 years for you, one of the constants has been jiu-jitsu. The goals that we have, that we want out of jiu-jitsu, the things that we're looking for change. How have your goals changed personally for what you were looking for out of jiu-jitsu from when you started as a white belt to now?
I think realistically, when I started, it was just an activity for me and my son, and then I realized it's not only helping me health-wise, but it's huge when it comes to health-wise. I think that's probably probably 75% of the reason why I continue it, because now that I'm talking with people my age and hanging out with my friends, like, honestly, I had a conversation with a bunch of them. They're all on kind of medication. They're not doing healthy-wise, and they're like, Joe.
The good kind or the bad kind?
Kind of bad, yeah. Different ones. Like, I'm like, they're smaller than me, but and they said, what do you do? They go, it's got to be the jiu-jitsu. It's got to be, because that's the only thing I'm doing that's different than most people, and it literally is like, I can't say it. It's literally like a fountain of youth. It's like you don't understand how much this affect. Getting up, falling, getting up, or your cardio. Like I have like if I'm doing projects at home, like let's say I'm fixing my basement or something, I got like really good energy. I feel I can just keep on going. I can go for 6 hours and just keep on, because of honestly because of this, and I don't want to all I could say is like it really I wish I could like tell everyone. I mean, like your blood pressure gets better. I'm on no medications. All my health chart is good. So
Good.
I don't know about you. I mean, you're still young, but you'll get to that point where your peers. It's like you're in great shape. Are you like you're 40, right?
41, yeah.
41. You're in fantastic shape. Look at your friends.
Absolutely. They are all ugly.
Yeah, and compare them on how they look, and you'll be like, oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is walking a different journey, but I know just on my own personal path, like, I feel a million times better now, 5 years or however many years I've been training than when I started. And I'm sure you can say the same.
Yeah, I hate to be one of those, hey man, this is the, but I wish I could. Some people, I'm like, hey, if you have high blood pressure, give this 2 weeks, test yourself and see if it improves. And maybe you'll get off medication, This changes a lot of stuff, so. I mean that's so now it's just I'm going to be doing this until my body doesn't function right. But so hopefully this will keep it. So who knows?
And I know this was kind of last minute. It's getting late on a Sunday, so I want to wrap this up with the last question, Joe. What is the one word of advice that you could give your past self, or to any white belt starting, like
any white belt
white belt? Like, what is your black belt tip for all the white belts out there?
I mean, my tip is that I started when I was 44. If you're in your 20s, even if you're in 30s, you are so young for this. You are ready to go. You could start. Don't think you're too old. Don't think you're not a teenager. Just do it. It'll improve a lot of stuff in your life and make you resilient and strong and healthier. It's a lot of people. I'm too old for that. I'm out of shape. No, just so many people that I've seen come through this gym who I thought, man, they're not. I don't think they're going to make it. Eric Alvarez. When he started, I was like, this kid's not going to make it.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing? Now this guy, that's one of the most resilient, strongest kids.
He got fit, man.
Yeah, and he is fit. It's like amazing transformations if you could just stick with it. So, all I'm saying is like, you're not too old. You're no matter what age. You're not too young or not too old to start this. So that's my advice.
That is perfect advice, Joe.
Yeah.
Once again, congratulations. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. And
thanks you.
It's an honor to share the mats with you.
It's likewise. Thank you,
Joe.
Dave. Thanks, bud.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Oh my God.
Thanks again, Joe, for your time, and congrats. And so that's it. I hope you guys learned a little something about Joe and what his jiu-jitsu experience has taught him and meant to him so far. And this marks the return of the General Future podcast. I'll be uploading an episode regularly, let's say once a week, and I'll be talking about all sorts of things. I think this go around though, my goals are to have more guests on, to have more conversational style podcasts, and also try to include more slices from my life just to mix things up a little bit. But thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and catch you next time. Peace.